Once in a while, a moment in a game captures you through its atmosphere, wonder, epicness, or the like, and becomes so memorable that it's engraved into your memory whenever you think back to the game. The Great Plateau of Breath of the Wild, Joel's Lie in The Last of Us, or the boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. And I think as of last year, I think we can comfortably add Alan Wake's Initiation 4 We Sing from Alan Wake 2 to the list of the most memorable moments in gaming history, and pretty high on that list on top of that too. This moment was just crazy. Like, just imagine, right? You're playing a game and the game suddenly decides that you aren't going to be playing the game anymore. The game instead chooses to play you, but you're still playing the game, but at the same time it's not a game and it's a completely different form of media while still being an interactive experience, meaning it's a game. I might be getting a bit far ahead of myself right now, so let's double back to the start. What is this infamous We Sing chapter? As of writing this, Remedy and Epic have yet to reveal the sales from Alan Wake 2, and judging by people's reactions to seeing the Herald of Darkness performance at the Game Awards, I think it's safe to assume that the people who played the game knew and raved so hard about this moment, whilst there were still quite a few people who did not know what was going on. So, let me explain it. Spoilers, of course. Alan Wake 2 is split into two different narratives, each with their own separate chapters on their own paths, with one side of the story being seen from the FBI agent Saga Anderson's perspective in the real world where Wake's writings are affecting her reality, and the second narrative focused around the titular Alan Wake as he explores and attempts to escape the dark place. It is round about halfway through Alan's story where the chapter We Sing starts, and that's where the madness begins. To further understand We Sing, let me give you a brief rundown of what you've been seeing in the game thus far. Regardless of which story you choose to follow through with first, the game has made you play through both Alan and Saga's campaign, meaning that you've experienced the crazy stuff that have been presented to the player. In Saga's campaign, you would have experienced how the Taken shift in hectic fashion in the real world, and experience how Wake's writing is changing the story as we speak. Whilst in Alan's side, we get to see this dark and gritty New York with the haunting and unpredictable Taken whisper in your ears, and how Alan is writing himself deeper into this living nightmare. Point being, you experience a fair chunk of the crazy direction the game presents, including the presentation and blend between live action and gameplay. And that is what We Sing is in a nutshell. It's like a perfect cup of coffee. A good blend between two contrasting elements that when stirred together creates a taste, or in this case, an experience unlike no other, but in the form of a musical. We Sing is a playable musical that goes through the story of Alan Wake from his childhood up until his current situation being trapped in the dark place. The music in the background, Herald of Darkness, performed by the Finnish band Poets of the Fall's alter ego, Old Gods of Asgard, with a normal length of 13 minutes, but has so many sections that can be looped, meaning that the song can practically be a never-ending story. There is gameplay here involving clever visual puzzles, live-action set pieces that change around you, and survival horror combat that makes you manage your resources carefully. I think I might still be underselling how impactful this section is, as even though what I just described sounds like a crazy mixture of gameplay and other forms of media elements, it's actually a landmark in how it blends many forms of storytelling into one. If you read books, watch movies, or listen to a song, whenever they are trying to tell you something important, it is directly told to you. Directly as in you are a passive element in the story, as all you have to do is read, watch, or listen. But stories in games, those require you to interact and play it, to experience the story. However, because of that interactivity, stories can become very inconsistent, if that's the right way to phrase it. Because if you take the story and are able to delay the story and come back to it later, the impact it can have on you can either go up or down. Books also have the same issue, as you can just stop reading and never get back to it, and although movies might also suffer from this, with the rise of streaming services feeding us with constant dopamine and making it easier to just stop watching films, the same cannot be said about music. Songs are short and, although yes, can also be skipped, are far shorter than all the three other mediums, kinda tricking our brains in a way that it is a far less of a commitment effort thanks to its length. Lots of songs with great writing and instrumentals and singing can tell incredible stories and have tremendous impact on our lives, all within the span of 3 to 5 minutes. But these other forms, books, movies, and games, all excel in their own areas of storytelling. Books let your mind run free and imagine a world being described. Movies show you exactly what they want you to see, and games let you experience the story for yourself. So if you combine all these elements, we get the We Sing moment. A moment so bold, bizarre, and confident in its presentation that it manages to captivate us as players on all fronts. We get to hear the story of Alan Wake through song, see the choreographed dances which perfectly describe and put a visual on Alan's life, and we get to play through this game, taking out Taken, running around and solving puzzles. Finally, we can also read through the lyrics, and yes, they do go through a lot in telling a compelling tale, but like a book in ways, it also lets you imagine and fill in the gaps to some unanswered questions you may have. Pulling out a checkbox, the game checks all the boxes, not just checks them with the boldest mark you've seen, and I'm not sure what analogy I was actually going for, but I think you get the point. This moment is just brimming with creativity to such a degree that it stands out from any other moment in gaming. But why? Over the many decades of video games, with the many different genres that have had their fair share of genre-defying moments and other incredible instances, and just taking a look back at the games that I've played, and I think I can say the same for other gamers as well, that We Sing is truly one of the best moments that we've experienced in gaming. But again, why does it stand out so much? The death of a certain someone in the original FF7, the revelations of Samus, Portal's ending, or the ending of God of War 2018, all these moments are incredible in terms of story, surprises, and impactfulness. Yet, I don't think they hold a candle to this moment, and I think the reason why is because of the sheer creativity of it. Alan Wake 2 has been a game that Remedy, especially Sam Lake, had been wanting to make for the longest time, but due to the lack of funding and the first Alan Wake not being the big success, the idea was put on the back burner until now. With there being 13 years between the releases, Remedy has had the time to think up new concepts and improve their ideas, and it really shows. Alan Wake 2 is the amalgamation of Remedy's entire history, except maybe for Death Rally, from the dark gritty tone of Max Payne, the incredible storytelling from the first Alan Wake, furthering the use of live action seen in Quantum Break, to the fun gameplay of Control. I know what I might say next might not be the best way to phrase it, considering that all game devs are super passionate and creative with their works, but Remedy is just different. I made a whole video a while ago about how Remedy is different from the usual AAA studios, and I think this We Sing chapter is the moment that really captures their magic. According to the Friends Per Second podcast, great podcast if you like video games by the way, Sam Lake had to fight to get the musical in the game, and man, are we lucky that he won through, because we got a piece of video game history that won't be forgotten by fans anytime soon. We Sing is my favorite moment in a video game ever. It might not have my favorite song from a game or the best story revelation I've experienced, but it feels so good to play through. I'm actually at a loss of words about what more I can say about this spectacular moment. I mean, I remember when I got to that moment in the game and how I was just floored by what was going on. I've never enjoyed musicals in my life, and rock music was always a genre of music that I wish I listened to more often, and Alan Wake 2 has helped me listen to more songs like Herald of Darkness. Although I don't think I will ever be a musical guy, I'm down for more games to create more moments like these, creative blends that bring many mediums together in shapes that seem hazy when mentioned, but become so much clearer once you experience them. We Sing is again the best moment I've experienced in a game, and we stand Sam Lake and Remedy. And with that, welcome to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all the way through to the end. It really means a lot. If you enjoyed the video, a like really means a lot, and if you didn't, a dislike too helps out a lot in helping me know what works or doesn't work. But I really do want to hear about what you guys think about We Sing. Did you love it? What made the moment special for you? Or what if you didn't like it, and why? Do let me know down below with a comment, and if you want to see more from me, a subscribe helps and really means a lot. Right, next week's video will be about a franchise that I'm very, very excited to talk about. I don't think I made a fully in-depth video on it yet. Well, no, actually I have, but it's now going to be more generalized, and I can't wait to actually put it out. On another note, I actually started playing through Dragon's Dogma, and was attempting to grind it until Persona 3 Reload releases, but I just had to stop. The first Dragon's Dogma is not as good as I expected. It's good, but it's just not for me, so yeah, no, I'm not playing for Dragon's Dogma again. I was gonna make a video on it, but I don't think I will. We'll see what happens when Dragon's Dogma 2 releases, but that's all for me. Thanks again for watching all the way through, and I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, night, and week, and with that, Storm out.